All right, so there's no illness, there's no medical necessity, and there's no cure. So no illness, no diagnosis. Yet there's a prescription. Birth control is handed out without any underlying disease to treat, unlike real medicine that requires a diagnosis before prescribing. No illness and no medical necessity, and there's no cure. So no illness, no diagnosis, yet a prescription. Birth control is handed out without any underlying disease to treat, unlike real medicine that requires a diagnosis before prescribing. Doctors are prescribing based on demand, not medical necessity, unlike antibiotics or insulin, which require diagnosing an infection or diabetes. For example, birth control is given without any medical justification. Fertility is not a disease. A proper functioning reproductive system does not require treatment. Birth control does not heal or correct anything. It disables a healthy process. No medical tests required. Many drugs require blood tests, imaging, or lab work before they are prescribed, but birth control is given with little to no examination, proving that it's not based on real medical need. Hormonal birth control carries serious risks, yet no individualized evaluation. Blood clots, strokes, and cancer risks are associated with these drugs, but doctors don't routinely perform genetic screening or risk assessments before prescribing them. Doctors treating a social issue, not a medical one. So birth control is handled out to prevent pregnancies, not to treat illness. This doctor turns into lifestyle managers, not healthcare professionals. Selling a product, not diagnosing a problem. Without a diagnosis, a prescription is just a sale. Birth control is a consumer product disguised as medicine. If pregnancy is a risk, then what is the disease? The very act of prescribing birth control implies that pregnancy is a condition that needs prevention. But pregnancy is a natural biological function, not a medical emergency compared to actual medical care. If someone asks for antibiotics without an infection, they are denied. If someone wants opioids without pain, they are denied. But if someone wants birth control, no questions asked. And why? Okay. So no long-term patient monitoring. So most medications require follow-ups to adjust dosage or check side effects. Birth control is often prescribed indefinitely with minimal oversight, proving its distribution is more about convenience than real healthcare. All right, so that leads to a very, very important point is that if there's no cure, what kind of medical practitioner is this? And of course, it is not a medical practitioner. This is an abortionist. This is nothing. And that's the thing. What business do you have to tell a woman what she does with her body and all this stuff? Okay, well, the problem is that this baby is conceived, right? The ovulation occurs, right? Like I said, the ovulation occurs and the new baby is conceived, and this baby has 50% of the father's DNA, right? So it's not just about the woman. Well, you have no right to tell a woman what she does with her body and all this stuff. Okay, well, why is 50% my child, who is literally 50% of me as a father, as where he should be, and he's born into a woman. It's a woman's duty to bring children into the world. I physically am incapable of doing that. Biologically, it's an impossibility. It's the woman's duty to do that, and all this stuff. Oh, that's misogynist. No, it's just basic scientific, biological reality. It's a woman's duty, same as your mother, right? Your mother had a duty to bring you into the world. Your grandmother had a duty to bring her into the world. Her grandmother had a duty that is the duty of the woman. A man can physically not do that. It's just impossible. You men can get pregnant and all this stuff. Get out of here. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to talk about that because we're not even going to discuss that. What are we talking about? We are talking about the fact that the ovulation occurs. Okay, the sperm will meet the egg, and the baby will be conceived, and the baby will survive for a number of days. But because of this birth control here, the baby will die because these are abortifacients. They do not prevent the pregnancy. So the small boy or the small girl will die. But then they will say, it's a blastocyst that will fail to implant. Oh, It's a blastocyst that fails to implant. But what does that really mean in real black and white, in real French or English or Spanish or whatever kind of language you want to talk, not this kind of nonsense, nutty nonsense medical jargon. Listen to what they're saying. It's a blastocyst that failed to implant. No, that is not the case at all, and they're just lying. They're just absolutely lying. They can pretend that they're kind of medical jargon. Well, what does it mean when you're actually communicating? That means they're lying. They're just deceiving the person. So what is this, right? Let's talk in black and white everyday, communication, English or French or Spanish or German or Chinese or Arabic or whatever kind of language. The small boy will die. The small girl will die. Why? Because of these, these birth controls are pills are handed out like candy, but there's no illness. There's no medical necessity to prescribe such a thing, and there's no cure. Right, so this type of lifestyle, this kind of gluttony or whatever promiscuous lifestyle this woman wants to, sleep around and get multiple partners and all this stuff, and then she just has abortions instead of um, abstinence or whatever. I mean, that's just killing a baby. That's wrong. It is wrong. So that's just the way our society is. But it cannot continue. It certainly cannot continue. So a baby is the most important, most valuable asset on the earth. It really is. Um, and this type of thing here is the most destructive thing that our humanity has ever seen. Dr. Michel Maridat is certainly guilty, and it just, sometimes I cannot even believe it that my own family would be a part of such a scheme. She's not a victim that got caught up in this. She really is an active participant in this horrible genocide.